Hello everyone, this is Minty Fries, and today, in commemoration of the long-awaited and much-vaunted release of Luigi's Mansion 3, I decided to finally 3D print the model I made of Mario's hotel room from the first trailer of the game. It looks a little bit different than this in the final version of the game, but I don't really care. I already did the modeling here, but I also wanted to make a model of Luigi, so let's do that and then move on to the printing and painting. I have not gotten very far in Luigi's Mansion 3 yet, but I am loving it so far. One thing I noticed about myself is this. I played Dark Moon before I played Luigi's Mansion 1. I think the mere fact that I played it first influenced the way I enjoyed the game. I am very sorry to admit this, but I enjoyed my playthrough of Dark Moon much more than I enjoyed playing Luigi's Mansion 1. I know deep down in my heart that if I'd played the first game first, I would have liked it better. I'm not sure what I'm saying here. I suppose I'm just admitting some of my own shortcomings to myself. I think Luigi's Mansion 1 is an objectively better game. The controls don't seem as smooth, bearing in mind that I only played the 3DS version. I'm sure the GameCube controls are much better. But looking past that issue, the first game is chock full of wonderful things and interesting characters that Dark Moon simply lacked. I'm talking about portrait ghosts here. They had such personality and were diverse and interesting. Every time you encountered a new portrait ghost, you had no idea what to expect. They all behaved in different ways and had unsettling dialogue unique to their characters. Dark Moon, by comparison, had no such thing. It only had generic ghosts with no personalities. I know that I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but this phenomena with late aughts to mid-2010s Nintendo games foregoing personality and charm for quick, quaint experiences stems from a much deeper source than Dark Moon. It is a systematic flaw that penetrated every single Nintendo game from the era, starting from the Wii and continuing to the Wii U and 3DS. You know what I am talking about, right? It was a time when we went from the likes of the first 3 Paper Mario games down to, and I shudder to speak these words, Sticker Star and Color Splash. It was a time of countless iterations of the eminently dull New Super Mario Bros. There were 4 different versions of that one game, not to mention 3D Land and World. We went from Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to Skyward Sword, or should I say, Skyward Sewer. We went from Metroid Prime to Other M. The same applies to Animal Crossing, Star Fox, Kirby, and so on. Let me paint the scenario for you. And by the way, I'm sorry that this video about Luigi's Mansion 3 ended up being me complaining about Nintendo games from the 2010s. But anyway, imagine the offices of third-party developers making games for Nintendo. We had Intelligent Systems working on Paper Mario Sticker Star, for instance. Or for that matter, Next Level Games working on Dark Moon. Intelligent Systems was adding all kinds of fun RPG elements, badges, recipes, unique partners, and all of the quirky characters and story elements we had come to love from the previous 3 Paper Mario games. Next Level Games was reported to have several boss battles, in other words, portrait ghosts, developed. But then everything changed when the Shigeru Miyamoto Nation attacked. Shiggy comes in and says, "Hey, why do we need partners in a Paper Mario game? Make all of the characters toads with different colored hats, only toads." Shiggy went up to Next Level Games and said, "Hey, you know what wasn't fun in Luigi's Mansion? The portrait ghosts. Why would people want 23 unique, fun mini-bosses, each with their own narrative, bringing the whole mansion together and making it feel like a cohesive, lived-in world? Instead, make all of the ghosts in the game the same ghost. Wouldn't that be great?" Who could forget such memorable ghosts as Slim Bankshot the Pool Shark, Biff Atlas the Strongman Pugilist, the creepy twins, the little kid who wet her bed? What about the piano teacher ghost in the conservatory that the petulant butler is hopelessly in love with? And the weird guy who collects all the ceramics in the attics, or the pompous French artist ghost at the end? And that bittersweet moment with Madame Clairvoyant helping you out all throughout the game, only to give in and let Luigi suck her up because she's basically good and desires inner peace. There wasn't anything like that in Dark Moon. Their hands were tied. This guy made Mario and Zelda, and Doki Doki Panic. They had to take his suggestions to heart. He took all of the creativity and originality in those games and sapped them in the name of having a plastic, streamlined, uniform Nintendo experience. But thankfully Nintendo is back at the top of their game with the Switch. We seem to be in that perfect space where they're honoring their roots, but also innovating. and adding all of those left-field unique elements that their games used to eat for breakfast. They finally realized that story and characters drive their games rather than uniformity. And Luigi's Mansion 3 so far seems to be no exception to that rule. Hell, even fitness games these days have been given stories. Once again, we live in good times. It's like a new GameCube era, and I love it. There was a time when I thought that Nintendo was permanently in the game of making flashy, simple experiences for a quick buck. So I'm glad that the Switch era brought with it a newfound dedication to quality. I tell you, man, the things people do for money. It reminds me of a time I once set up an elaborate crime syndicate to siphon money off of a charity which benefits starving children in third world countries. There's not a joke there, I'm just a terrible person. Regarding Luigi's Mansion 3, I should say that in my experience playing it so far, it has the best game feel I've ever experienced in a video game. Playing as Luigi just feels right. Besides its buttery smooth controls, they added many small events to Luigi's motion, which makes it feel more realistic and immersive. Sometimes Luigi will walk a little lower as he observes what's around him, or he'll suddenly stand stark upright and start quivering because he heard a little noise. They had events like this in the previous games, but it never felt so right. And there aren't portrait ghosts to the extent that there were in the first game, but the mini-bosses are decent and varied, not quite the cookie-cutter spooks of Dark Moon. Not to mention the scenery has never been so interactable. Luigi catches curtains as he walks by them, and things fall over if he brushes past them in the slightest way. It's just so fun to move about. The best part is that the poltergust wrecks house. I'm serious, you point it at anything and start sucking and it obliterates it. I'm talking scorched earth, my friend. Take that, damn ghosts. Trap me in your hotel, I'll wreck all your business. I'll ruin all your precious, precious cleaning supplies. Eat it. The already insubstantial market resale value on this place is going to be in the toilet when I'm through with it. These files and records look important, and now I'm going to take a big dump on them. It wasn't quite this dominating destructive force in the previous two games. The most it could do was make a fan move or rattle some pots and pans. Now, most things in the game are entirely destructible, and it feels amazing to suck everything up. Take that, you ghost that'll learn you to kidnap me and my friends. I sucked your couch. And oh my god, that friggin' ghost dog is so cute. Just look at him. He is almost as cute as Forest Whitaker in the Jim Jarmusch movie Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai. But enough of that, here is the finished product. I think it turned out pretty good. By the way, would anyone be interested in something like a fan giveaway? I was kind of thinking of doing giveaways for most things I make on my channel, but would that be too much? As a minimalist, I am certainly happy to offload these things that I make on anyone who wants them. Let me know how you feel in the comments. If I get enough interest, my next video just might be a giveaway special. Thanks for watching, and have a minty fresh day.